and it's really good risk to reward trades as well. Then it is, usually it's Wednesdays, but today I'm trading the WEEX account today, and we're going to be trading together. So I got some trades for you guys. I'm going to be trading gold with you guys today. So something that I've been working on for some time. And I want to open some trades while we're going through the charts. And I just want to show you guys a very powerful gold strategy that I'm using right now that's really helping me build small accounts, right? It's a little bit less wicky than crypto right now. Crypto's working good for me for some swings. And again, I'm just waiting patiently for the opportunity of a really good entry, right? But at the same time, there's money to be made. So I want to show you guys a very powerful strategy. I'm going to be trading an account with you guys today to grow that $1,000. And I'm going to be trading short time frame gold, show you a 1 minute, 3 minutes, and 5 minute strategy that we're busy with. So it's a jam-packed session today. At the end of the show, or second half of the show, I am taking all of your guys' altcoins. We go through your charts, what you guys want to see. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like Sniper. Welcome to Sheldon Show.
Fam, how we doing, guys? We're surviving out there. Again, you're part of the last people alive in this market. So just keep fighting through, keep pushing through, keep driving through. We will get rewarded from the hard grind. How we doing, Nicholas? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Tindo, what's up? Okay, let's go. Let's jump in. So again, a couple of warning signs we saw yesterday was the USDT dominance broke out, retested. And again, I always speak around mid-ranges, guys, that if we see a rally and we don't get through the mid-range, right, it's very likely the rally can continue. So therefore, we came down, tested the 618, bounced. And now, again, the big sign we're seeing now is a new high. Now, as again, we look at this chart, we kind of zoom out to see the next couple of weeks. Okay, and we can see very much that right now it kind of stands us pushing a slightly new high here and then a drop down. You know, and the way that kind of, again, reads with the Bitcoin time or the Bitcoin and altcoin markets is this is still very much a possibility of a slightly new low and then a fast acceleration to the upside. Before we think around 40,000s and we think about those crazy low levels, right, we do want to see how we react at this zone. We start to close above here, it starts opening the doors of the, I'd say, life-changing entries. You know, like I'm looking at things like AVAX right now, $6.2. You know, Bitcoin goes to areas of 40,000. Like these things go to $1, $2. Like it's insane, right? It's literally insane the opportunities we're seeing. Again, a slight mindset change that I think crypto over the next few years is going to be wanting to being taken serious, which means that, you know, pay attention to the right narratives. I don't think it's everything that's going to pump anymore and do crazy gains. But I think as this market is getting oversold, I do think we're getting to big opportunities of 10, 20x opportunities over the next couple of months. Now, important thing to just show you guys here is just to remind you the time frame. So before I go into the analysis here, just to give you guys an idea of time frame of when I basically see markets starting to rally up again. Right. So again, what we are doing, there is accumulation. There's a big range point that we hit at some point, right? You get these big ranges. Here was a range. Here was a range. And as you can see, the range is quite wide, right? So you can see a range up to 30%. Okay. But you must still identify that it's a range that's being formed. So even though we are seeing, you know, a bit of volatility right now, we must still not ignore a range or accumulation that's happening. And sometimes you do get the angle, sometimes you get the sideways, right? I think we are very much in this place over here, right? Where we did have our first little rally up, and I think we're getting to this point of this capitulation point, and then start moving. And once we start breaking, we start, you know, the cycle again, the next cycle. You know, it's no brainer that once we're done with this wave, right, we are looking at another cycle, very much to the highs, possibly new highs. I don't think anything fundamentally has really changed and shifted. I just think right now, crypto was still not seen as the safest asset. So when things happen in the world, I think it has been hit a lot harder, but it's always been the best growing, right? And I still think that's there. But when it comes to time frame wise, right, I still kind of see this as a very big type of possible channel that we are forming here, right? But I do see this as a higher time frame accumulation, right? Which means that all I really want to pay attention to is this top weekly or daily trend here, right? And that for me is giving me the idea that there is all these downside targets, right? The 40,000s, the 50,000s, this slightly lower low that I'm speaking around, right? These are all very much in play for as long as we're still here, right? And this just gives us a little bit of an understanding of mentally where to prepare ourselves, right? Of we need to get through, easily these next 100 days, 90 to 100 days. Then I feel the market is actually ready to restart the cycle and start moving up again, right? And not only that, then I really see incredible gains and just confidence coming back. And the same way we've seen multiple times where markets reset and people disappear, people come back, right? Things start to shift. Humans like things that are moving and shiny, right? And some point it will become shiny again, and we'll start to move. But this is the realistic view of time frame. Why? So it's still kind of lining up for me when I look at high time frame time-wise. I'm still looking basically from around the September kind of time of where things really start to shift up. Now again, why is it then important? Firstly, mentally, it's important to know that cash-wise, dollar costing, keeping some in case crazy specials is quite important. But I do want to explain the dump as well, right? What we do tend to see is when we get the first little rally up, like I showed you guys that happened previously, right? We then get the capitulation dump. And what tends to happen on a capitulation dump, because if we do this, right, this is very much a pattern that we could see happen over the next couple of weeks. And why I'm saying it's important to try get some buys down here, because this might be the low of the actual zone. Right? So when you see an accumulation zone, you will see a range, but at some point you'll see a flush, right? And that flush tends to be the extra special entries, right? And these entries here do make a big difference when things go up again. Right? That little bit of percent or that extra 10, 20% lower, right, really makes a difference when it comes to a 5x and a 10x opportunity, right? So again, why it's important here, because this is very much something that I can see coming into play. Okay, weekly stocks at the bottom, monthly stocks are going to the bottom. So high time frame, we start to get oversold, which means a temporary bounce at some point, after a flush out is very likely. And then we're going to go into a snooze fest. And that's why today I just want to show you guys a couple of strategies on just trading different markets as well. So if we go through snooze fest, you've already prepared yourself with a couple of strategies to get through the snooze fest. Because when there's a snooze fest in crypto, there might be a pump in gold, or there might be a pump on the stock markets, might be a pump in AI stocks. And the cool thing now is, yet again, we look at our exchanges now and we just go through this. Let's just see where I'm at here. I'm going to show you guys a couple of short-term trades. But nonetheless, you go through the exchanges here, and you obviously got your crypto section, but you as well have your TradFi section, right? So you go your TradFi, and then we can trade stocks, we can trade gold, we can trade everything, right? So from one platform, that's kind of the idea here. I don't want to learn multiple things, confuse things, but I can basically trade multiple things all in one place, okay? Which means that just working on the strategy, building up these things, and knowing time-wise, it's important for us to stay in the game, right, to be a part of the 5%, right? 5% of people are going to survive and be through these periods to actually make the life-changing money, right? If you look at those who are rich today from crypto, 5% of people, right? Maybe 2 to 5%, right? But that's all just because they started earlier than you, right? They got way lower in the range, right? There's people that are still in tremendous profits on their crypto portfolios. Probably not so much all the altcoins, but very much Bitcoin, ETH, Sols. When I started, I remember ETH at some point was $90, $80. Right? Still to this day, you'll be sitting at a 20x, right? But again, that came from the hard times and those areas of where we're at. So this for me mentally is just where I'm preparing myself mindset-wise. Then a couple of things to pay attention to is as we are coming down, right? So again, the daily stock is coming down, which means this can last a couple of days, okay? But then as we start moving down, the weekly will be at the bottom by the end of this week, okay? Let's just see and the monthly is completely oversold. Right? So again, it's just telling us when it comes to RSIs that a couple of days, we're seeing some redness now, but don't be surprised that bounce comes in and actually gets the high time from RSIs to start to move up. But then secondly, what I want to add to this is I just want to put in the relative strength index, because we need to start looking for a couple of clues, right? We've made the mindset of, okay, we're here and we're here to kind of be a part of this. But at the same point, we want to catch this bottom. Okay, we want to catch these areas. Now, what this RSI does is once you bring it up, it looks like this. Simple thing that I do here is I just remove that, make this a little bit cleaner. Right, but what you tend to want to see here, I'm just going to clean this up a bit. Okay, and let's make this a bright color. There we go. Okay, we want to see something just opposite happening. Now you got bullish and bearish divergences, and then you get hidden bullish, hidden bearish divergence. But I just want to simplify the process, right? What we're looking for is this RSI is a little bit more technical than the stochastic. Okay, and as you can see, it's very accurate when it's at the bottom, right? When this thing goes below these areas of the 25%, you could see how very accurate it comes when it comes to bottoms, right? It is very good, specifically when this thing is incredibly oversold, right? It really marks these big bottom areas, right, when it comes to that. But what you'll also tend to see is you want to look for a difference, right? So price is moving down now. And the first thing I can notice is that price is moving a little bit slower here. Okay, so what I want to see is I actually want to see price move down, okay, quickly. And I want to see a lower low here. Okay, and if that happens, because again, why am I looking at a bounce at 58,000? Let's just quickly go through it again. It's the main Fibonacci, guys. It's a 618 fib, right? So if we mark this out here, we have not hit that fib just yet. Therefore, every bounce has gone to resistance, hasn't come. This for me is where big level, and fibs tend to be quite accurate, right? But there's the 618 fib over there. So that's the idea, as well as horizontal supports, RSIs at the bottom. There's a bunch of reasons of why there. But I do want to see this indicator flash when that's happening too. So if I see that price is going down and we break a new low, and I see this coming up and I see a higher low, right? So I see price, we break the low now, but this has not caught up, right? This is basically sitting still above this low over here, right? That's going to be a sense of bullish divergence. When these divergences come into play, right, you tend to see a very fast move happen. Okay, you tend to see it's basically telling you that what you're seeing here is not really true. There's a bit of a trap coming into play. Okay, so even though we're looking oversold here, the RSI is saying something different. And when you see that sign over there, that's when we tend to see a very strong bounce coming. Because yes, we've seen drop downs, but we haven't seen buying power just yet. And when you see a drop into buying power and volume comes in, right, that is when you instantly go easily up 15, 20% in positions, very quick. Okay, so this RSI is going to help us a lot when it comes to picking that up. So again, yes, I'm looking for this downside. But now let's speak around this RSI coming down and actually possibly losing the low when we get there. That is going to give me a sign, okay, that we could be looking at the 50,000s. Okay, so this is something we're going to just pay attention to on the shows together. But if we see us break the new lows, okay, and we see this RSI sitting on top here, right, there's going to be a very big sign of a divergence. When a divergence comes into play, that's when we're really going to see a strong move happen. And I remember showing you guys last time, let's just see if I can quickly on the tip of my brain here, just show you guys. So here's an example here where you have a slightly higher low, right? And you have a lower low in RSI, right? Look what happened after, right? When you look at this here, this is exactly what we want to see, guys. This reminds me very much of, this is where I think we could be in the cycle, right? We bounce, we go sideways, and then we start the next rally. But I just want to show you the signs here, right? So if you look at this low here and you look at this low here, clear lower low. You look at the RSI, right? Look at that. You see the higher low on RSI and you see the lower low here. Look what happened after the next couple of weeks, right? Things started to shift through. So these tools are very important to use and pay attention when this is happening, right? And not to be emotionally driven by what's happening. Be calculated. And if we see the signs here, let's commit, let's go. It gives me an idea that I'm longing here, I'm putting a stop loss here, and my risk to reward is huge, right? And again, it comes down to the same thing. So when you look at the altcoins, same thing, right? If we look at alts, we are definitely closer to a low here than where we are to a low here, right? So same thing with altcoins. I'm seeing there's a pool here on this double bottom, right? And there's a pool slightly lower down, depending on what the dominance is going to do. Okay, but we see the drop of the lows here and you see the bullish divergence. Why, again, I think alts can also go slightly lower down. It's very similar to the Bitcoin chart, right? You mark out the high time frame Fibonacci points. And as you can see, we actually hit it this time over here. Okay, we never hit it the second time. Very likely slightly lower down. Psychologically, the entire market gets incredibly bearish. Thinks about low. We're going down 50%. Perfect time to trap them. Okay, and just to give you guys an idea of the bounce size. So I'm going through all of this so that we can just mentally know tools we're using, what we're looking for, and what we're paying attention to. Okay, but the next thing to pay attention to here, right, is the size of the bounce. So in order to see the size of the bounce, you basically take this trend that we are running away from now. Okay, and it gives you an idea that if we come down here, the bounce is coming here. Right, then there's probably a chop, higher low, and from there we start rallying up. Right, that's why for me these entries are very likely going to be cheaper than the second entries you'll get. Doesn't mean they're both wrong though. This can also be a time to enter more in the markets. Therefore, I'm looking for trading strategies. I'm looking for things that I can trade and do to accumulate more dollars so that I have dollars now and I can try have more dollars here and I can use tools to do so. Right, but nonetheless, the special is something that I really want to pay attention to and focus on. So when again it comes back to the Bitcoin chart, right, and we just go look at how big the bounce is, okay, you could see the bounce is actually way bigger on Bitcoin than altcoins, which gives me the sign that we may be seeing a bearish dominance now, okay? But when we get to the bottom, it's very likely we're going to see a couple of weeks of dominant strength again. And it's very likely we're going to fall back into the same system that we've used. The only difference is the categorization, or whatever that word, right, is this, right, is Bitcoin will lead the bounce, very likely hog the dominance, okay? And then once Bitcoin settles, right, you'll start to see it catches up. Doesn't mean the alts won't bounce. They will bounce, okay? But it's very likely we do flip back into the Bitcoin mode a little bit. Therefore, you come back to the chart now, and you can see that Bitcoin's a lot further from the trend than the alts, okay? Because it is important that Bitcoin from here actually has the solid bounce. And you can see the bounce for me is up to the areas of 70 to 72,000. Again, why is this important? Because we might not come back down there again. We can hover for weeks and then break out and get going. And once we're on this side of the trend, we start then paying attention to the 90 to 100,000 again, right? Those type of zones. Okay, now let's quickly go through some short time frame analysis. Okay, it's very likely Bitcoin's going to start speeding up now, speeding up this week. A couple of things to pay attention to. S&P, right? S&P put in a secondary high at this point. So this looks like it's on the verge of possibly speeding up. So I just want to show you guys here. So there's one trend to pay attention to here on the daily, and we're literally on support right now. We start to lose this, right? We still have an idea on S&P, and we're charting this because this is obviously affecting the crypto markets, right? But as you can see here, right, they still easily, if we look at the percentage-wise, you know, we're still looking at possibly another 5 to 7% down until we're back at support. Once we get here, right, that's when I turn quite bullish on the markets again, specifically S&P, specifically gold, all of these things. Right, this is where I kind of start to get bullish again, okay? And again, dollar index breaking out. So it's the right for us to think capitulation. It's the right for us to think lower lows right now, okay? We will have signs if things start to change, but that for me is the game plan. And when it looks at here as gold, right, look at gold as well. People are afraid to put money in places right now. That's a long trend we're losing here on gold, right? So there's definitely an opportunity of late to early 3,000s on gold. So overall, you just start to look at things. Silver looking to drop, right? Where's oil today? Oil, I actually think it's going to find support soon. Maybe a little bit lower, but anywhere in the zone, I think we can actually have an oil bounce. Right? And then after that, I am a little bit bearish of the next little while. Okay, so we just got to keep that all in mind. So now, going back here, is if S&P can speed up at any point now, very likely we're probably closer to this capitulation than what we think. Okay, so big part here on Bitcoin right now is it's kind of fighting its last support, right? And as well as putting in this trend. We are days away from a breakout. And I'm talking short time frame. So for me, anything right now to turn bullish or to that, anything I'm bullish, I'm just bullish to the trend. But until then, we are not anywhere near, like bears are definitely in control right now, okay? Volume, we had a little spike up yesterday into a rejection. No volume yet. There is a volume spike coming. Right, at some point over the next couple of days, volume spike. Hoping it's a drop into a buy, but nonetheless, no crazy volume right now, as well as liquidity, right? Not much. Oh, the liquidity is starting to build. Amazing. So as we're dropping again, liquidity is building at 66,000. Yesterday, all liquidity was gone. And when liquidity is gone, you can see how we just wiped out all liquidity. It does mean a real move starting to happen. So as we are starting to drop over the last couple of hours, we're starting to build some up at 66,000. Again, as we're dropping, liquidity is building to the upside. Look at the high time frame, nothing. This for me is a good sign for a real move to happen. When we're accumulating and hitting liquidity, it means the market's just going where it's going to make money. But when there's no liquidity to be made, right, and we're breaking trend, it's very likely the real move is happening, right? And that's what we got to pay attention to. So here right now, we are sitting on a short time frame support. Here it is, 618, okay? And this for me, we start losing this today. It's very likely we start over the next day or two pushing down to these zones. My trade setups that I'm waiting for to long the markets, I'm not going to try trade too little in here. I'm actually going to trade another market in the interim, okay? But I am still sitting with my limit orders at the low 58,000s. There's my limit orders with the stop loss at 57. That's the only major longs I'm seeing right now, okay? If I see tomorrow or in the next day or two, then I'll be highlighting. But not seeing any crazy longs just yet, okay? It's just not, and if you look at the shorts as well, it's quite hard to get into some shorts right now. If somehow we see a little bounce up over the next day or two and we're here, there could be some shorts, okay? But for now, my ETH as well, I'm sitting with 1,420, 1,460 with the stop loss just below 1,400. Right, that's kind of where I'm sitting when it comes to my limit orders on a bunch of tokens. If we see this downside in Bitcoin to the areas of 59,000, just want to highlight that that is the areas I see ETH going. Right, and it's the same thing. 7-8 Fibonacci points in this area supports. I don't want to do the same thing on all the tokens, but it's showing the same thing. Right, Solana is just lost trend. Very likely Sol is going to start increasing its speed and momentum. So my areas on Sol is still between $55 and $60. Right, that's a key area I'm paying attention to. The injectives, right, starting to lose trend today, which means we're starting to open up. I've been buying at 6, 5, and I have been keeping some capital, but for me, there might be an area of $4, right? And that can be a really good entry for injective, right? Zcash, we can finally get the 360 and the 260 possibilities, right? These are the areas here. I'm not taking any crazy leverage positions. Leverage positions I will take when we start to break these daily trends. So next week, we're very likely to take a lot of leverage positions when it comes. Right now, spot positions, things that can survive, put some decent stops, give it some room, right? And just buy at really solid, good levels. And if I see there's 2 levels on the token, I'm basically splitting up my capital between the 2, right? Putting 30% in the first one, 70% in the lower one, right? Or even 50-50. Okay, amazing. Ondo, again, these are my favorite tokens, 28 cents, 29 cents, Render. Right, Render's down. 1.5 I think is really good. And I think we get 1.4, 1.3, I think it's really good. Right, so a lot of good opportunities. We'll spend a lot of time on altcoin shows and things like that. But now I want to get to the point of speaking on a couple of trades and stuff today. Right, and stuff that so in times like this, you know, gold is kind of seen as a slower asset. But the cool thing with gold is you can trade with more size and higher leverage. Right, the percentages are a lot smaller. Right, so you can trade with more size. So you make just as much by trading with crypto. You're just trading on higher leverage, right? The fees are a lot lower, which is great. Okay, but secondly, when it comes to, they're not as wicky, right? So with crypto, especially going into this range of finding a bottom now, crypto is going to be highly volatile and wicky, right? Which means your stop losses are very likely to get smashed if you're trying to trade the range now. If you're patient for lower down at a solid weekly level, I think the stops should hold. Okay, but if you're trying to trade daily and these type of things right now, you know, it's getting a little bit tricky to survive. You're just getting stopped out. You're losing a little bit extra. The wicks are coming, right? Gold, again, Bitcoin's what, at a 2-3 trillion, right? And gold's sitting at like a 30 trillion or like a 25 trillion volume, right? And money that's in it. So you don't have as much crazy volatility, okay? And it's a little bit easier to trade. So what I pay attention to on gold here, right, is literally the same strategy I've taught you guys for years, right? And I've literally continued the same thing of if I'm looking to trade gold now, right, and I'm looking to make a nice trade. Let's actually see where we're at here. Where are we at? Let's just reset here quick. Where are we at with gold? Let's just reset up quick. Okay, it's literally the same strategy I've always taught you guys. If we see, you know, I want to zoom in, let's say to the 5 minutes, or you can even trade 1 minute, which is amazing. This thing's been moving up. There's one damn trend line. When it breaks that trend line, I short. And when I short, I wait for a close here, I short, okay? Stop loss right over here. And when it gets to mid-range, I TP. All right, this thing is really good at when it breaks these trends, respecting fib levels, right? It's a lot easier. Therefore, I can't trade 1 minute and 5 minutes on Bitcoin, but I can trade it on gold, right? And I can trade on the lower time frame. So again, let's just see where we're at here. This is loaded up. Okay, so I'm gonna close here. So, okay, there's my quick 30 bucks. Let's see if I can close out here and see what I made. Okay, I'm up today, up 1,064. I want to see if there's a nice little short that we can take together. Okay, but just following the same system. So what I do is, again, I always wait for a super clear, strong trend. So here's multiple tests as an example, right? I wait for that. I'll wait for a cool down, right? And you can long and short. Now, again, you can zoom out to have an overall bias. Okay, but for me, gold's in this perfect range on the minute, 5 minutes to get in and to trade up. And I'll teach you guys now the way you kind of calculate things. Okay, so here now I'll wait for the close. I'll take the short. And once I take the short, I'll put the stop loss nice and tight. It's very good with if it's going to break through here, not breaking through unless it's fake. Okay, and then I take profits in the middle. Okay, then I have to sit in my hands for easily half an hour. And I basically wait for the next move, okay, of dropping sideways and break that will be the area of where I long. When it gets to the middle, I take profits. Okay, now I want to show you something. That's on the 5 minutes, right? This for me is where it's very powerful. If you trade the 1 minute time frame, these moves are tiny. 0.07%. Right? Crypto, a move like that is 0.3%. Right? So something like that happens there. Crypto, you just get wiped a lot quicker. Right? So when it comes to this over here, your moves are here, which means it gets to the point of, let's just put this in here, of trading the same strategy, but you can trade on the 1 minute. And the volatility, let's just put this in here. It'll give me an idea of when to take this trade. Okay, now I want to speak around this. So if I look to, let's say, take the short now, and I want to put a stop loss here at the 4,120, right? I can look to take the short here, and what I can do is leverage is not really a thing here, right? Your fees are a lot lower, right? They're not as crazy when it comes to fees, which is great, and your volume is very good at when you execute at a price, it's very likely you're going to get that. So what I do is I can set this on any amount. So let's say set it on 50x, okay, over here, and I click on this short button. I want to short the token now. Right, and I basically put in my stop loss. I say, okay, where's my stop loss going to be? 4,120 when I'm going to enter. And all I do is scroll this across. And when I scroll this across, it's going to tell me the amount that I'm risking. So when it comes to trading, guys, it comes very important to the point of just your cost per trade. Right, you say, when I'm going to enter a trade now, I have $1,000 account, which means I'm going to risk $30 to $40 per trade. At the same time, when I'm looking to take the trade, why do I follow this system? Because you need a good risk to reward, right? So if we see I'm going to short here and I'm going to put a stop loss over here and I'm going to take profits halfway, right? You see my risk to reward is 1 to 4. Therefore, when I go back here and I say, okay, I want to risk $30. So I scroll this across now and it basically tells me, okay, again, I go always just under 30 for some fees. Okay, but I say this over here, it says 24% on a 50x, right? It will give me $26 loss. Okay, then I put in the take profit points and I say, okay, take profit point is at 4,105. Okay, so I put this in here, 4,105. What did I do wrong here? Not 4, though. What did I do wrong here? 4105. Stop loss 41010. What did I do wrong? Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so if this is a risk to reward of 0.04%, so 4119, okay, and this is a TP point. Let me just make sure this is reset here, of 4105, okay. Why is it doing this? Just 2 seconds. Let me figure something out here quickly. Am I going mental? From where price is now. Wait, I'm getting something wrong here. Oh, the price difference. Oh, that's why. Okay. That makes sense. $7. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So guys, there's a price difference. Price difference from here to there. Right, so it's important to trade gold on the same thing. Okay, mid-range here is, okay, 4095. I thought I was going absolutely mental. Jeez, crazy. Over here, so there we go. $62 to make 26. Is that mid-range? 4094. Okay, 94, boom. So again, what I'm explaining here is making sure that your wins are worth 4 times more than your losses and you have a cost per trade. The benefits of why I'm saying gold right now is there is a lot more frequent trades, right? There is a lot more. The fact that you can trade on the 1 minute, I basically worked it out that every 28 minutes is a long or short available to you. If I'm trading crypto right now, right, trades, I'm getting 1, max 2 trades a day. Where here I'm maximizing up to 10 to 12 trades a day, right? So again, yeah, I haven't shorted yet. I got to break the trend line to short. So again, when it comes into these plays of trading this right now, it's not as wiki. It's respecting big levels. It's respecting fibs, all these different types of things. I really again, no advice from me, but I really suggest you looking at other markets and actually trading the same strategies you've always known before, but try it on an asset that is a little bit more filled with volume right now, not as wicky while we wait for crypto to wake up. When crypto wakes up and volume's back in, we trade full blast there, right? But this is really giving me the ability to grow small accounts. So now, again, when do I take the short? When this trend line breaks. Let it ride now. You see how it comes to the trend and bounces. It doesn't come below the trend and then bounce, like crypto does at times, right? It basically respects the line and it goes. Therefore, when it actually breaks the line, it really breaks the line, right? And then what you can do as well is the important part is when you take the trade, right, is once we have broken trend and we start to move down, is to put that trend in and put your stop loss, move that stop loss down. Because again, if it breaks the trend, it's very likely it's going to go up. It doesn't really lie so much and do so much trappy moves as what crypto does. So you move that stop down into profits, wait for it to hit your TP, or keep moving that stop down as it makes new lows and starts pushing to the downside. So very fun. So guys, if you don't have a WEEX account, remember, we've got a big opportunity here for Phuket. Right, let's get the volume up over here. There's a link below in the description. Join up. And if you to trade gold, to trade all of that, there's a link below. Show you guys. Here's the link. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. Sign up link if you want to do for the giveaways, the trading competition, right? There's a lot of great opportunities. Okay, so gold is a big thing that I'm paying attention to right now and building up my capital. And it's a lot easier to trade gold right now. You can trade silver, you can trade all of them. Gold for me is the best at the moment. Okay, now let's jump into your guys' altcoins. What would you like me to trade, fam? By the way, if you enjoyed today, just education-wise, show in general, just smash up the likes. I want to see if I'm on the right trajectory, if I'm breaking trend. Get the likes up. So today was an important stream because I've now taught you gold. So we're going to wait. Hopefully we can get the short now, but I actually want to spend next week when we do the Wednesday, WEEX Wednesday. I actually want us to probably spend like 2 hours and just trade gold for like just a 1 month time frame. Try to get like four to 6 trades in that time. So it'll be fun. Okay, AVAX. Yeah, AVAX. A little bounce today. AVAX showing some strength. Interesting. I don't think AVAX is far from its lows, guys. I really don't. So again, big trend on the top here. Put this trend in, track it down, right? Still multiple days till a real breakout. However, a good strong bounce at any point can take us up to the areas of $8, right? So there's up to a 40% move to the upside. Okay, which means that if you do want to be a part of that 40% trade to the upside, right, you can kind of just track this move that's happening right now, right? Where we kind of just track this to the downside. And if we start to see in a couple of days, we shake and we break this trend, you can have that right up to that trend over there. Okay, so again, I'll keep this trend in mind. When it comes to downside and being bearish on Bitcoin and us seeing another move to the down, right, I do see again a slightly new low. Right, so areas of the mid $5, right, really good dollar costing zones, high time frame wise. Right, to trade it, we're not far away. This does look like it might be one of the leading alts when the market wants to go up again. So I will definitely be looking out for this long over here for you guys and giving the signal when I see this happening. The only reason why I'm not long right now is again we've just lost that trend. Right, and obviously still bearish on Bitcoin as it speaks. VVV, this obviously had a great last couple of months. Where's it at right now? I haven't even checked that out. KuCoin, where else can we see this? Okay, so immediately bearish, right, on the 4 hour. When we start to zoom out here, okay, guys, this token's done incredibly well. It's cooling down now. It's literally cooling down. So quite a clear high time frame view here is there is 2 big supports. We're going to see, yes, this token's been strong, but will it be strong when this market capitulates? Right, very likely it can have a fast drop off. There is support at $12. Okay, but where it kind of really sits with me here is these areas down here at $10, 10 to 11. So those are kind of 2 big zones. But the best way to kind of do stuff like this is have the idea of where you want to maybe dollar cost. But that kind of trend will help you to execute when things are ready. Right, but it's starting to move across now and very likely to speed up at any point to those big support. If we lose these supports, big down. That's why that top trend for me is important. Okay, next one. Virtual. Dun, 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 dun. I don't want counted on Bitstamp. Okay, I just want to try find some better data. Okay, Binance. Okay, so here's the daily. Okay. So there's obviously a higher low possibility on altcoins. So that being said, 53 cents is kind of the area, but it does look, if Bitcoin does want to capitulate, these late 40 cents marks, right? These are good dollar costing zones. But again, something like this is pretty easy because it's very close to the trend. So you've got areas of bounce, break of the trend. That would be the execution point. After that, again, how big do I see the bounce? Literally zoom out to the weekly, see that area. I see the bounce going from here to the areas of up to 80 cents. Right, so quite a big move to that. And then I see chop and then possibly breakout a little bit later on in the year. Okay, give me RTR. Okay, let's do last one here. I have no idea. I can't find that coin. Give me another one. What is RTR? RTR. It's RSR. Okay, Tron. Actually doing really good. What I don't like about it, obviously, is the uprising wedge. But at the same point, it's really reacting well. So no danger signs. Danger signs is us losing this trend. Right? Losing 30 cents, 29 cents, that's when it's danger signs. For now, it can literally just keep ramping up. Right? Buy zones for me are possibly here. I do think it's quite expensive to the rest of the market, but there could be some buys here. Right? And if I really had to be bearish, I'd be looking at buys at the low 20 cents, but it's not confirmed unless we break this bottom trend. Right? So right now, it's very likely if it does this, it's just going to continue moving that for now. Right? But bottom trend is like warning signs. So that's where you should be like, hey, should I protect some capital, type of thing. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Remember to sign up for WEEX if you don't have a WEEX account. Gold strategy. Is there anything here on gold? No, gold took off. Look at that. Amazing. I'm not in. Oh, my longs would have been cooking from earlier. I just got out because I want to take some trades with you guys. Nonetheless. So again, if I took a long, I did take longs down over here when I broke this trend. Okay. If I took a long, why I say I can just move that stop loss up. Right. So the stop started here, then it went here, and I can just move stops up. Now the stop loss will be sitting here. Right. You see how it respects trends, comes down, touches the trend, blows off. Right, it respects levels a lot more. So I think it's a great opportunity to keep yourself busy and being able to move to multiple markets in these times. Guys, have a fantastic day. Subscribe to Sniper Trading. I'm doing a show there later. Lots of love. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.